I'm about to reveal a secret about your wife that will either infuriate you or liberate you. And it shows you a hidden test that she has been giving you that when you pass it, has the effortless power to quietly pull her in. Now, here's a comforting truth for you. Dude, you already have most of the skills to be great in your relationship. There's just one critical skill that nobody ever taught you. And without it, you're unknowingly failing her most important test over and over again over the years. Now, this single blind spot has caused thousands of little cuts in your relationship foundation, and it's the main source of your suffering with her. In fact, very few men can maintain deep respect and attraction from their wife even after 25 years of marriage. But the men that can have mastered this simple skill that I'm going to share in this video. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to master the skill so she begins respecting you more than ever and renewing your attraction, which will then have her consistently following your lead as she opens up more and more every single day. And the best part is that mastering this creates less conflict long-term too. So first, before I show you that skill, let's look at why women even test men in general. Now, most men used to think that women test because, well, she's just being critical, or it's her trauma, or she's being really manipulative, or trying to create a bunch of drama. But here's the truth that will change everything. Women test for one reason and one reason alone. It's her unconscious way to build intimacy with you. It is an autopilot response, okay? It is an opportunity to meet her biggest need. Now, you may be thinking, how the hell does being critical to me build intimacy? Well, think about it like this. Imagine you're about to get on a roller coaster, right? What's the first thing that you should do? Most people don't, but you should do. You'll check the safety harness, you look at the structure, and you want to know if you can handle the pressure, right? You're not doing this to be difficult, but you're doing this because you need to feel safe before you completely let go and have fun. That's exactly what she's doing with you. She's checking your emotional structure, your consistency, what we call here as your frame. And she needs you to have a stronger frame than hers. So in order for her to open up and to fall into you with softness and love, you see, she evolved a need to be with a man who could protect her, okay? But in order to know that you are that man consistently over time, moment by moment, okay? Just because she knew in the past doesn't mean it's still true to this day. She has to consistently push you and test your frame's strength in order for her to feel safe. So what she does is that she creates an alternative frame that she intuitively knows you won't like or you won't agree to see if you fall into hers. Now, David Deida talks about this idea in his book, The Way of the Superior Man. He says, a woman will test you over and over and over again. She will force you to confront your core until your truth is stronger than her fear. Now, look, the other day I met with a longtime friend that I haven't seen in a couple of years, right? And this woman is very tapped in. She's intelligent. She studies coaching and all this stuff. And even though I know, I teach you guys what, why women test and all this stuff, I was still she tested me and it was funny. But in that moment, I was like, why do you do that? Even though we're not dating, she likes to test me because she just likes to feel that strength, right? We're good friends. And I was like, why do you, I know why you do that, but why do you do those things? And she goes, well, Josh, honestly, I wasn't even aware I was doing it. So there's number one, that's the subconscious part. And then I said, well, in my response, when I'm like giving you crap back or I'm having a stronger frame, how's that make you feel? She's like, I like it. It's fun for me. And it allows her to have fun. And that's ultimately, what she wants. She wants that moment of connection. Okay. And I have that part of me myself where I'm like, why do women do this? Why do they have to make it difficult for us? At the same time, you're going to see in this video that once you can adopt a different mindset about embracing her tests and seeing it as an opportunity for fun and connection yourself with your wife or girlfriend, it's almost like an autopilot fix. But let's just go on to the next part. Okay, now that we know why a woman tests you, why she will always test you, we have to look at what most tests actually look like. Now, the majority of the tests that you're familiar with, I call these micro tests. These are the obvious ones. The criticizing something you did, questioning your decisions, pushing back on your plans, creating small conflicts over minor things. It's their favorite, right? Testing your boundaries with other people. Here's a perfect example of a boundary test. Let's say you're at dinner and she's flirting with the waiter. She's laughing at all his jokes, making strong eye contact. Now, most guys will either get visibly upset and create a scene, or they'll sit there just seething, but say nothing and let the resentment build up inside. But here is what's really happening in that moment. She's not trying to hurt you or to cheat on you. She's testing whether or not you own your own worth. Will you react from insecurity and jealousy, or will you remain confident with who you are in that moment? These micro tests are so easy to identify because they're testing your sense of self-image, okay? She's making sure you know who you are at the core and you don't question your sense of self-worth based on her actions, that she cannot change you no matter what she does, okay? She needs to know that you're solid, that you won't crumble or become someone else just because she's having an emotional reaction. But the test in this video, this hidden test, it goes often completely unnoticed for most men. So let's look at what this test looked like. The hidden test is what I call the Soulmate Audit. I remember one time I was on a work trip with my co-founder. I was on the phone with my partner and we just got into a huge fight. All right. Now, eventually the fight calmed down and we were all good. And all of a sudden there was a pause. She didn't say anything for a good minute. And then quietly she simply said, "Do you think there is someone out there better for the both of us?" Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I was a bit rattled as my heart kind of just stopped, right? I mean, did she think that? What if there was someone else out there better for us? I mean, were we really meant to be with each other? Now, I'm going to tell you what I said later on to her. But first, I'm going to let you know why she gave me this soulmate audit. Now, there are multiple reasons why. One of the first reasons why a woman will test the whole macro of the relationship, a soulmate audit is the macro of the relationship, is simply because she wants to hear the opposite. Now, look, women are oftentimes indirect in nature, right? They want you to read their mind, and oftentimes they'll say and do things of the opposite of what they actually think because they want you to hear the positive response. I mean, this is the basis of all the tests. And a lot of men will say, "Oh, that's just being immature." You think it's illogical. You think it's immature. But to her, it is completely logical, and it makes sense why she would do something the opposite and then have you give her the response that she wants. It is not immature, and it's not playing games. As much as you think it is, every woman does this. At the end of the day, it's like her saying, "You don't love me," randomly, right? Because she wants you to walk up to her and just say, "I love you so much. I love you more than anything in the whole entire world. You're the most special person to me ever, and I'm so lucky to be with you." That's what she wants to hear. And women don't want to directly ask for that because it feels fabricated. So in their mind, they create this opposite effect to get the response that they want. And what a beautiful opportunity to just to reassure her and make the person that you love in the world most feel safe and loved by you, instead of seeing it as some task that you have to do. So we're going to look at a movie clip of how to fail her test. And now it's an extreme example to prove the point. So if you don't want to watch something that's very emotionally intense, skip to this timestamp.
Asshole.
I'm a fucking asshole?
You're a fucking asshole.
You can call me stupid.
I'm so out of love with you. I've got nothing left for you. Nothing. Nothing.
Okay, so she's saying I have nothing left, but yet she is showing a lot of emotion. So again, that is a form of a test. Now she's they're very emotionally volatile. They're on the brink, but.
Nothing. There is nothing here for you. There is nothing here for you. I don't love you.
Say stuff.
I don't.
Don't say
stuff.
So he's saying don't say stuff, which is like he's immediately getting like reactive, right? Instead of staying calm, you can see, even though he's not yelling yet, he's gesturing.
I don't.
Don't say stuff you can't take back.
You fucking asked for it. You asked me.
I couldn't drive you crazy unless I love you.
I gave you the goddamn answer.
He said, "I couldn't drive you crazy unless I love you." Okay. That's actually a good statement, and that's actually a decent response if you said it more calmly without the pointing. Remember, nonverbals are very important here. And so it's true, like he couldn't drive her crazy unless she actually really cared, but he should know that without saying it.
And you don't like it. That's why I don't fucking talk to you.
That's just immature. You're going to hit me. That's just immature.
No, I'm not going to hit you. You're the bad guy, not me, asshole.
I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, asshole.
You're the bad guy. Another form of a test. She's saying you're this thing that he doesn't want to see himself. And then he says, "I'm the bad guy."
Okay.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Fuck you. Yeah, I'm more man than you are, you fucking cunt.
That's one of the worst things you could say to a guy, right? Like, "I'm more man than you," or "You're not a man." But obviously, nothing she's doing is okay either, okay? Obviously, there's strong boundaries. If I was coaching Ryan, I feel like I review a lot of Ryan Gosling videos. If I was coaching Ryan, I would tell him to walk away, right? Take space instead of close themselves in the room. Clearly, this is not a place that they should be talking and having this conversation. So you should always do that if it gets volatile and that emotional. But let's review 3 things that you should not do, guaranteed ways to fail her test. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a massive resource on passing her test. It's even further, going all over the micro tests, different examples and techniques. It's one of the best videos on the channel, so stick around for that. But the first way or thing you should not do ever is get defensive. Defense is essentially this. Do not try to prove her points. Do not try to argue with her in those moments. It is also a form of logic. When you're trying to like take the context and the words of what she's saying and what she's positing toward you and somehow try to logically convince her that that's not the case, it never works. Never defend yourself. The second worst way is to get needy, right? If she's attacking you, she's saying all these things about your character, asking you, "Are you going to leave me, or are you done with me then? Like, well, what does this mean about us?" And you're basically pushing the conversation of like, "You're leaving me. I'm scared you're going to leave me," or you're trying to like really calm her down a lot. Like, no, don't feel this way. Essentially, non-verbally, you're being needy and you can't sit with her negative emotions. Defensiveness and being logical or analytical is very synonymous. They're very similar with each other, but they can look different. just being analytical is trying to take these little words that she's saying and being like, well, you said always, but yet last week I didn't do that at all. So technically you're not right. And you're just completely neglecting how she's feeling in that moment. And you're trying to use logic to just calm her down. If we're going to tie all three of these things together into one package and put a label on it, it is you are not okay with how she feels in this moment and what she's experiencing. And so you're just trying to get rid of it so you can feel okay yourself. All right, so let's go into how to pass this soulmate audit. So going back to that original test that I told you about with myself, the first thing I did was pause. I didn't react with my first thoughts. Now, this is the first way to pass her test, is to, or at least not fail it, is to immediately react to her. You do this because generally as a rule, your fear is your first initial thought and emotion that you'll experience when she tests you. If she's unsure, you don't want to fall back into her frame of uncertainty. You see, I showed you before this 3 ways that you do this, to being needy, analytical, and getting defensive. The second way to pass it is to see through to her deeper need. In that pause, I want you to ask yourself, what is she really testing here? Usually at the end of the day, is if you can lead with the proper emotion and vision of what you want. Ask yourself, will I stay strong when she's not? Am I good enough without her validation? Will I abandon myself just to please her? In this case with the soulmate audit that I was being tested as, she was seeing how devoted and committed I was to us. See, in that moment, she was a little bit uncertain with us after that fight. Naturally so. So was I, right? But she was testing to see how uncertain I was, okay? I knew this because of her history, all right? And so you should know this because of your wife's history. The third and final way to pass her test is to use the advanced skill of verbal judo. And I'll only briefly touch on it in this video because I'm going to give you that massive resource about how to comprehensively pass her tests at the end of this one. And it is by far the best video on the internet on how to pass a woman's test in a relationship. So for now, just know that you don't resist her energy. You redirect it, right? You redirect it like water, okay? Like a martial artist, you use the force against itself. The skills and resources show you how to agree and amplify, use loving indifference, nonsensical humor, and confidence acceptance. Now, those things will be more in depth at the end of this video, but the fourth way you pass it is to always choose her. Now, to really teach you this last lesson, I'm going to tell you a story. There was a moment in my life, in my relationship, where I was uncertain if I wanted to get married to this woman, okay? And so I didn't go do ayahuasca for that sole intent, but that was one of the intentions I had, was to have the intention of like, is this person my soulmate? Should I marry this person, spend the rest of my life? So during the ceremony on the second night, all of a sudden, I don't know why I couldn't explain it, I felt really scared. There was no logical reason why. I started thinking, well, is this a cult? Did they poison me? It's really weird stuff. Overall, it's a beautiful experience. So in that fear, I just heard this voice. It was a woman's voice coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. And whether it's delusion or not, I knew it as Mother Ayahuasca. It's like the spirit, okay? And the first thing she said to me is that there's no reason to be scared, child. And her voice was just so soothing. It was like a warm blanket over my body. And I just immediately relaxed and I felt a yearning to speak with her. And everything that I heard from that voice, she might as well have been saying the sky outside is blue, fire is hot. It was just true. I didn't question it. And so I was talking to her, I asked her a lot of questions, but then I finally came to the question of asking if my partner was my soulmate. And what she said again was just so simple. She said, if you want her to be. For those of you who are staying to the end of the video, I'm going to get a little bit esoteric on you and give you this lovely bonus idea that at the end of the day, there is no soulmate, right? If you choose that your wife is the person you're supposed to be with, the type of man that you're going to become is going to do what is necessary to become the man that gets her back. But the moment you have doubt, the moment you question whether she's the person that's meant for you, whether she's done things to completely betray you and hurt you, and you can make yourself as the victim and say, the woman I'm supposed to marry shouldn't do that. You're going to shit all over yourself and let the devil of indecision enter into your relationship. And as you as the leader, that's what's infecting the relationship. And that's what she is testing because she notices your indecision, your lack of commitment and devotion to love. And it's just this negative spiral downward. But if you recognize that you have the complete control and power to choose what you ultimately want and fully commit to that and make that your reality, it'll be so. It's not going to be easy, but that is the path. So at the end of the day, no matter how much she tests you, you can listen to your fear, and that is going to create the relationship. You're going to lead the relationship to more fear, more betrayal, more pain, more conflict, separation where you're currently at with her. Some of you more than others. Or you can pause and say, what do I truly want? And when she tests me, in that moment, I can see it as an opportunity to connect with the person I love, to make her feel safe, to have that deep intimacy that I truly yearn for. And when you compound that over time, that's what builds attraction and trust and allows her to just soften into you. Okay. If this is something that you've been struggling with more than anything, this is why we are experts at this. All right. So you can get on a free evaluation call by clicking the link down below. Just make sure you are fully committed to saving your marriage, and we can definitely help you out. Again, here is that massive test video that I was talking about. I highly suggest you watch that one as well. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.